a spear. It just speared through the building like a fireball.
After you watch this video, what comes to your mind? Terrorist attack, right? Let's see how terrorism established in this world. Did you know that the US has been fighting terrorism for a long time? The 9/11 incident that created by Al-Qaeda have caused many casualties. This led the US to attempt number of counter-terrorism measures in an effort to stop similar tragedy from occurring in the future. After this great event happened, the terrorist organization grew from time to time. One of the most famous terrorist organizations is ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq. ISIS, or also known as ISIL, was formed in Iraq from Al-Qaeda organization. Abu Musab al-Zarqawi established this branch in 2004. In 2011, ISIS have caused many violence in Syria and Iraq to launch attacks and expand its forces. ISIS grew in 2015, forming affiliate networks in at least 8 more nations. Then, what is the relationship between the ISIS movement and the United States? The United States has been fighting ISIS as a result of the uncontrolled violence against human, global security, and regional stability. Under several administrations, including the Obama administration, the US government has joined international efforts to weaken and destroy ISIS because it views the terrorist group as a danger to the US national security. Therefore, let's talk more about America's policy in the context of counterterrorism and ISIS. Alia, can you explain more about the concept and theories that can be linked in this counterterrorism?
Alright, sure Iza. Defensive realism, a theoretical that states primarily to ensure survival and security in response to perceived external threats. Applying this theory to the Countering Violent Extremism (CVE) task force under the Obama administration, this effort can be interpreted through the lens of defensive realist principles. During Barack Obama administration, the evolving threat from non-state actors, particularly terrorist organizations like ISIS, were recognized. The establishment of the CVE task force can be viewed as a response to potential impact of violent extremism on U.S. national security. From a defensive realism perspective, the creation of the CVE task force under Obama was driven by the perceived need to protect the United States, focusing on maintaining national security and ensuring survival in the face of dynamic and evolving threats. So Hasmi, can you explain more about this?
Not only that, Alia, but President Barack Obama also used 4-branch plan. This plan is centered on combating urgent challenges to U.S. national security and safeguarding interests. This fact can be related to defensive realism theory. In this theory, it contains the security maximizer purpose that the U.S. take the offensive against ISIS. Countries face significant risk in order to balance threats and invest in advanced military equipment, displaying willingness to spend in high-tech counterterrorism measures. That's a little bit of information that can be linked to the theory in these events. So Suha, can I know how the counterterrorism policies under the Obama second administration are implemented?
Okay, I will explain.
What is the policy or strategy that Barack Obama has taken on this issue? Let me explain this. The first one is countering violent extremism, CVE. CVE aims to complement the traditional law enforcement counterterrorism measures by combining prevention strategies. This includes: the first one is identify individuals, particularly young Muslim Americans, who are considered at risk of adopting radical or extremist ideas. The second one, provide health, education, and social services to the American Muslim community on the assumption that poor conditions contribute to violence. Lastly, promote government-backed message to counter extremist propaganda and monitor message team to foster extremism. Next, the second strategy is 4-pronged strategy. It contains 4 elements, namely, the first one is a systematic campaign of airstrike against ISIL. This means systematic airstrike on ISIL targets in Iraq and Syria, expanding to Syria to combat terrorist threats. The second one, increase support to forces fighting ISIL on the ground. This means they are distribute additional United States service members to Iraq for non-combat roles, aiding Iraqi and Kurdish forces through training and equipment. In addition, similar aid provided to Syrian opposition. Next, drawing its substantial counter-terrorism capabilities to prevent ISIL attacks. That means they're utilizing resources to prevent ISIL attacks globally, including cutting funding, enhancing intelligence, strengthening defense, countering extremist ideologies, and curbing foreign fighter flow. The last one is providing humanitarian assistance to innocent civilians displaced by ISIL. They are providing assistance to displaced civilians, including Sunni and Shia Muslims, Christians, and other minorities to prevent forced displacements from historic homelands.
Hasmi, I don't know much about the impact of this policy or strategy on America itself. Can you explain?
Yes, I can, Alia. So basically, the impact of policy on the American itself in terms of counterterrorism is quite a lot. The first one is about the CVE program. It's actually aimed to prevent violence by recruiting community leaders, social workers, teachers, and public health providers. But then, this program faced criticism for its impact on boosting Americans' human rights. Next, during Obama's second term, the United States counterterrorism strategy focused on combating domestic radicalization and non-love attacks, which is they use this strategy through community involvement programs and the countering violent extremist CVE measures. However, challenges remain, such as the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing and 2016 Orlando nightclub shooting by Omar Martin. Another implication is about the US counterterrorism policy aims to increase public awareness and resilience by encouraging citizens to report suspicious activities and fostering trust in national security efforts. The See Something, Say Something campaign and the Community Policing Initiative aim to build trust, educate people about radicalization signs, and provide resources. So basically, the implication was not only affects America itself, but also affects international relations. Alia, can you explain more?
Sure, Hasmi. Okay, indeed this policy affects international relations. This policy has a significant impact on global cooperation, including expand the international coalition, fostering diplomatic relations, and prioritize humanitarian welfare. Let's see. The first implication is international coalition expansion. United States continue efforts to build and expand an international coalition of more than 100 countries to fight ISIS during Obama's second term. This involved diplomatic engagement with various countries by forming cooperation in military and non-military aspects. For example, we have France, Germany, and the United Kingdom have increased their contribution to our military campaign, which will help us accelerate our efforts to destroy ISIS. Secondly, this policy can guarantee humanitarian welfare. It is an effective measure. For example, the dynamic between the United States and Russia has evolved to show bilateral relation to fight against terrorism. For Russia, terrorism poses a more serious risk to its national security than the United States. Overall, we can see that the policy against ISIS during Obama's second term has had far-reaching implications for international relations, shaping diplomatic, military, and humanitarian engagement with various countries and international organizations.
Wow, there's a lot of impact on this counterterrorism policy. So there are recommendations that can be given to the President Joe Biden in focusing on improving the counterterrorism policy are: US can continue funding and resources for grassroots initiatives and social programs addressing root causes of radicalization and terrorism. Next, the United States can continue international coalition building. This is to build and strengthen international coalitions to counter extremist narrative and propaganda. The Biden administration can work with countries around the world to share information, intelligence, and best practice to counter extremist messaging.
Airstrike in Kabul, Afghanistan, that killed the Emir of Al-Qaeda, Ayman al-Zawahiri. You know, Zawahiri was bin Laden's leader. He was with him the whole time. He was his number 2 man, his deputy at the time the terrorist attack of 9/11.